Hey, welcome back, MSQ. Hey, welcome back, YouTube, to more MSQ. We're wrapping up. Well, Endwalker's pretty much wrapped up. We've just got we're gonna say goodbye to the Scions, and then we'll be in post Endwalker, I believe. Let's go ahead and get it started. Let's start with Urianger, least favorite, still to this day. Love the music. MSQ hath thou hast spoken with our comrades? Though this parting be not forevermore, 'tis nonetheless occasion for sorrow. Akin to a pixie's path, the navigation of such farewells is a perilous endeavor indeed. For their part, however, the Loporrids embark upon a new beginning. Though bereft of its purpose as a vessel, the moon yet remaineth hospitable for the creatures of Aetheris. Thus do our lunar visitors convene with the Forum, intent upon assigning some new and beneficial role to our solitary satellite. Yet ere that may come to pass, there is much and more each party must learn of the other, a process which doth promise to be eventful indeed. To that end, a cadre of Loporrids hath gleefully dispersed across our lands in the name of mutual understanding. Eidolon, 'tis said, did imbue them with her love for all things born of this star, and 'tis Venat's own nature, I believe, which doth manifest in this irrepressible, inexhaustible curiosity of theirs. Having witnessed that which they strove to achieve, I wish most keenly for their long labors to be rewarded, that their abiding affection for man result in a boon for all. Moreover, I hope to continue our acquaintance and share in such knowledge as they see fit to impart. Acquaintance? I'd call it a friendship. I did not wish to presume. I would be honored should they consider me a friend, for 'tis certainly true that I have grown fond of their company. But I shall digress no further. This day should belong to the scions of the seventh dawn, to mine incomparable companions. Ofttimes hath mine reticence caused thee grief, and mine actions spurred allies to suspect betrayal, and yet here amongst you I still stand. No amount of words could express my gratitude for thine acceptance and forgiveness. Thus instead I do proffer my humble support, be it unto the deepest abyss or the highest heavens, even I must needs founder across stormy seas, ever shall I answer thy summons. If we're doing it in Auristinian. It would be great if this was just it. It was just us staring at each other and that was it. Please make it. Oh, if you have something to say, then out with it. Just worried how you'll earn your keep now. You talk as if the science dissolution was more than mere pretense. There may be fewer calls to action, but we should be compensated as before. Why are you so concerned for me anyway? In any case, I do not want for options, even if some are worse than others. No sooner did Emmerich hear about our disbandment than he offered me a position as a guardsman in the Imperium district. As a former Azul dragon, I'm guaranteed to be popular, he said. What does he take me for? Even without his meddling, I'm perfectly capable of finding employment, and have. Some days ago, a Hanish envoy arrived with word from Vitra. The worm requests my presence as soon as things have settled here. He didn't deign to mention why I'm needed, but it pertains to dragons like as not. In Thavner, like elsewhere, the phenomenon caused by the final days abated when you defeated Metian. Though it was too late for those who had already transformed, life is beginning to return to normal for the survivors. Of those who sought refuge in Sharlayan, most have already returned home, but many do not have a home to return to, nor loved ones. By an arrangement between Virtua and the Forum, such souls may remain in Sharlayan if they wish to work and study. Vitra was always the satrap in truth. It's gratifying to see him become one in name as well, one who has the complete confidence of his people, if the envoy's tone was any indication. I often find myself speaking favorably of dragons of late. Not so long ago I would have assumed his benevolence hid ulterior motives. 'Tis clear he cares for his people, and they in turn revere him. To know such a nation may flourish is comforting. Vitra's kin sought release from conflict. So weary were they of the suffering it wrought, they sundered to oblivion. But Midgard Somar didn't give up. In hope he made the journey to distant Aetheris with his clutch of eggs. And though his progeny went on to be embroiled in conflict with men, there were times when they transcended hatred to abide in harmony. That is their legacy and their triumph. In my lance I feel the weight of their struggle and the strength of their resolve, and it lends me strength. These things I might have learned had I not joined you. Never learned. Should you ever have need of me, I will come. At the very least, it might be an opportunity to earn coin. Thancred, my boy. Ah, champion and savior. I was beginning to think my chance for an audience would never come. It sounds more amusing in my head. Speaking of heads, I was worried about yours, and the rest of you for that matter. On the mend, I trust? Glad to hear it. You were in a bad way, and healing magics or no, I'm impressed by how swiftly you've recovered. Then again, 'tis hardly first time you've cheated death. Your strength of will has never failed to astonish me. Look at what you've accomplished. Metean defeated, her song of oblivion cut short, the source and all her reflections delivered from the final days. If you had faltered at the last, then all hope would have been lost, but you held fast. Now Irene has a tomorrow to look forward to, and I could ask for no greater gift than that. As for a lesser gift, however, the next time you see her I would appreciate you not describing my travel plans with Urianger as aimless wandering. We've a purpose in our roaming, after all, keeping an eye on things in the absence of the scions on the world stage. There'll never be an end to the little problems that go unattended by nations. We will do our best to help out where and when we can. Which I suppose is an approach not far removed from aimless wandering when you get down to it. Perhaps you could tell her I'm faring well and leave it at that. No need to mention this feeling of being uprooted. I've never been one to stand still for long, but when I think of home, 'tis the rising stones which comes to mind. How many times have we set out from this base, thence to return when our work was done? On that day, the scions came together. I only hoped for Minfilia to find a place where she belonged, but never did I expect to find one here for myself. Indulge me. I have a question for you, and imagine Minfilia herself is asking. Are you glad you joined the scions? Best decision I've ever made. I can honestly say the same. But all good things must come to an end, at least for a time. Should you need a helping hand for infiltration or reconnaissance, you know who to ask. I'll come running and you'll likely get a certain funny-talking fortune teller into the bargain. Oh, a mask. Pray forgive me for delaying the gathering. I was writing a letter, you see, to my parents. As busy as father has been tending the aftermath of the Exodus, he has been good enough to show concern for the scions. And besides, I've made them worry enough for a lifetime. Henceforth, I will endeavor to write as often as I am able. Little effort to set their minds at ease while we continue to be away from Sharlayan. Both Alice and I are off to assist with Garlemald's recovery, you see. Though uncertainty remains over what will become of the nation, we cannot well leave the capital in its present state. We will join those members of the Isabard contingent still stationed there. Lucia and Maxima helm the relief effort with support from our allies, the people of Garlemald among them. They will gladly be joined by those who have finished treating the tempered across the lands. Lest you misunderstand, We do not seek redemption for failing Licinia and her sister. That is a burden we must always bear. Nay, we go because of the truth in Lord Quintus's words. The truth that whatever ideas individuals may espouse, nations are not moved to action unless they stand to benefit. For the foreseeable future, the fallen empire will be at the mercy of both internal and external forces, and though I do not doubt the intentions of the contingent, with greater powers involved in the relief effort, our allies may well find themselves drawn into a political agenda. In going, we seek to ensure that the needs of the people come first, to understand their hearts, that we might better help them to begin anew. I'll visit when I can. By all means, full glad would I be of your support. I believe I speak for Alice as well. For fairly as long as I've been in Eorzea, you've been at my side, watching over me in good times and in bad. How many times have we gathered to share tidings? None could possibly keep count. The world is changing and will continue to do so, yet no matter what the future brings, I hope that I can ever look to you, in good times and in bad, as a dependable comrade and dear friend both. Thank you, from the bottom of my heart. Oh, MSQ, how are you feeling? Any lingering aches or pains? I can't apologize enough for sending Xenos to find you in Ultima Thule. When he came to me in Charlian, I was truly torn. As ever, there was only one thing on his mind. Forced to make a decision, I reasoned that if he would not be deterred from seeking you out, he might at least aid us in our cause, and so I struck a bargain. In the end, he was true to his word, and you defeated him despite your earlier exertions. But knowing the state you were found in, it could have ended very differently. My decision cost you almost your life, and no words can express the remorse I feel. It worked out. You did the right thing. It is a relief to hear you say that. Thank you. Time and time again, I've been made to feel woefully inadequate. Wasn't much use in battle, nor could I face the Forum without my nerves getting the better of me. It always fell to you and the others. I must and will do better, and I shall begin with the restoration of the students of Baldesian. Through our work, Charlian will strengthen its ties with other nations, that we may be better prepared to face whatever threats arrive in future. Of course, this isn't something I can accomplish alone, but thankfully, I have the staunchest of help in Raha and Ojika, and our other remaining members. Together, we'll continue Grandfather's work. As before, certain commissions will take us longer to dangerous locales, and we may need to call upon seasoned adventurers. In such times, might you be willing to assist us? Not because you feel obliged, mind you, but because you feel allured for the task itself. Marvelous. Should something of interest arise, I shan't hesitate to reach out to you. Until that day, I shall endeavor to become a more dependable comrade. There's a toss-up between Graha and Ishtola. Oh, might you have a moment to talk? With the Scion stepping away from the public eye, I've been left to consider what new endeavors I might pursue. And after speaking with Cryo, I've decided I will be assisting her in rebuilding the students of Baldesian. Not only am I indebted to Master Galuf for giving me a new home, but had our orders never existed, I would have never set foot within the Crystal Tower. How different my life might have been. I would have never met you, never become caretaker of the tower, never become a Scion. You gave me the chance to do so much good, and I hope to continue to do so with the students. For an added benefit, new mysteries often find their way to our doorsteps, mysteries that could prove ideal fulfilling our promise to embark on a new adventure together unlike any we've experienced before. Whenever you have the time and inclination, my friend, I stand ready to accompany you into the unknown. Do you recall in the realm of the Omicrons when I asked if you thought I may someday be mentioned in your epic? While 'tis true that to earn a place at your side would be the stuff of dreams, in the end, nothing would give me a greater joy than to stand with you in the here and now. It needed be some grand endeavor. There needed be a promise. Whenever adventure calls, I won't hesitate to invite you, and I hope that you will do the same for me. Without a second thought. Oh, I should have done that as long as you don't overexert yourself, because everybody always tells him that. I'll hold you to that. As much as we've already seen, there's still so much we haven't. Who knows, perhaps we will even encounter survivors of the Omicron somewhere out there. After all, given how they took to the stars, it isn't implausible that some found themselves far from home. And should we encounter a wayward traveler awaiting commands that will never come, I would bid them seek adventure with someone, and with that partner find new purpose, a new dream. For if crystals can hold fast to dreams, why not Omicrons? Whatever your plans may lead, do not hesitate to send word. Should a commission of interest come my way, you will be the first to know. So I think it was either Graha or Alpha Node. Somebody made mention that maybe Omega is even one of the Omicrons. Oh, are we saying our farewells too? I hadn't at present planned on a journey of any great length. Not that I am averse to a moment or two of quiet reminiscence. In fact, there was something I'd been meaning to ask you, something that has been in my thoughts since the last flames of the final day subsided. During our travels, we have witnessed more than a lifetime's worth of oddities and spectacles, more than can be easily recalled or remembered. And nestled amongst those memories are certain essential facts, the history of Aetherius and the ancients, glimpses of the Ea, of their culture and philosophy. Rather than simply hoard such treasures in my mind, I wonder if I should not be disseminating them in formal records for wider consumption. When needed, I have penned reports and prepared briefings, but ever have I balked at the idea of binding the subject of my studies in a book or tablet. Truth is given shape and interpretation. When we seek to capture it with our words, it is invariably molded to fit a narrative, no matter how well-intentioned the rendering. An event is described as sad, a summation which fails to express the emotional complexity, yet the word on the page is what endures, a pale shadow of reality. Throughout history, some have deliberately embellished the truth, but I believe many, if not most, deviations are the result of similar linguistic shortcomings, piling one upon another until the end result is unrecognizable from its origin. Which is why I fear that writing an account in my own words would be asking to diluting fine wine with water. Yet even with the potential for corrupted meaning, I do of course realize the importance of keeping written records. Without them, my search for wisdom would be a painful affair indeed. But what say you on this matter? Should I take up the quill? Reflect upon those experiences only we have shared and seek to preserve them for posterity. Aye, let them be read and remembered. History is learned, not lived. Very well then, I shall endeavor to pen what I can of the Ea and the ancients and of so many other wonders. But I am no scribe. It will be less a polished work and more a reordering of scattered notes. In any case, I feel much better for having sought your opinion. Left to our own devices, we tend to overthink such things. I will otherwise return to following where my curiosity leads. After all, a safe method of travel to the first yet eludes me, and our venture into the great expanse has prompted an entirely new set of questions. Should you stumble into the unknown or struggle with some impenetrable mystery, know that I am at your beck and call. It never hurts to see things from a different perspective, and mine is rather different than most. Ah, I get it because she can't see. Ah. Oh, she sees his Aether. Alright. Best for last, but Lisa's in here, so Alice will do. MSQ, seen to your preparations, have you? I'm just making another sweep of my belongings. Wouldn't do to find I've forgotten something halfway to my destination. Oh, and in case you hadn't heard, we've received new reports detailing the devastation caused by the final days. It appears the situation is gravest in the land surrounding the Bounty, where the sky first began to burn. After that, the calamity was observed in the far north, in Garlemald and the frozen lands beyond. We also had reports of the heavens catching fire in isolated locations, one of which was in the area in the northern Empty. Had our quest taken any longer, Charlian too may have been under threat. Thank goodness it's over now. To be sure, blasphemies and lesser beasts may still be roaming about, but these localized crises should be well within capabilities of each nation to handle on their own. Scions are no longer needed, which isn't to say that we won't help out where we can, of course. As individuals, no more of this order business. For my part, I'll be heading to Garlemald with Alphanode. They were among the worst affected and still need all the help they can get. It won't be easy. An inevitable part of aiding those in need is coming face to face with tragedy. Knowing it doesn't make it any easier, though. That I'll curse my weakness, my inability to fix every problem and save every lost soul. But no matter how much it hurts, I won't give up. I'll do what I can for as many people as I can, begrudging no effort. And should I find myself discouraged, I'll remember you. Think back fondly to one of your many moments of triumph and the accompanying determined expression. Even those would still annoy me in retrospect, like when you activated the teleporter without warning. Should you hear about me, I want you to remember too. Remember that I'm out there somewhere trying my very best. I look forward to hearing all about the legendary Alice Louvier. Not that I'm trying to become famous or anything. That being said, next time we meet, I'll be vastly improved. So don't be surprised when you find yourself marveling at me. Spoken your fill, have you? If so, I'm thinking to send everyone off. With your permission, then. Your attention, please. At risk of spoiling the mood, the time of departure is upon us. In my capacity as your receptionist, I bid you all safe journeys. Till next we meet, be well.
I suppose we're off to Garlemald then, though we ought to speak with Lord Emmerich first. If he's received word of any recent developments, we need to know.
'Twould be prudent to purchase some warmer clothes at least. Mayhap we can pick up a few souvenirs for Euless and the others while we're at it.
Where will you all be heading next?
Dravania. There is a book I've been meaning to borrow from the Great Google Library. And I can think of at least one person who will be most displeased should I fail to visit before leaving.
We've no particular destination in mind, but we do intend to stop in Charlian before we set off.
We had thought to ask after the Loporrits. I am curious as to how well those who chose to remain are adapting to their changed circumstances.
Might we accompany you then? Raha and I were planning to return to the Baldessian Annex.
Commissions have been piling up in our absence, and they must be dealt with ere we begin our work in earnest.
Estinian, you will return to Rads at Han, will you not?
Aye, for Vritra's benefit. Though I've yet to hear the details, I may not stay long.
I see. Then it is here the Scions at last part ways, each to some far-flung corner of the realm.
Perhaps. But I believe one of our number, a rather important one at that, has yet to divulge his plans.
Quite right. Indeed.
Go where the wind takes me.
So, what's next for our humble adventurer?
Metian? Goosebumps again. Stop giving me goose. It's tall, my friend. Our journey will never end. So many goosebumps.
The constancy of this place never ceases to amaze me. An ocean of souls, shimmering and eternal. And yet, something stirs. Yes. Steeped in darkness, deep as starless night. The beast hungers. Alas, I dare not investigate in earnest before the coming of my guiding star, as he foretold. We shall descend to the depths, you and I, to confront the dread beast Pandemonium. Oh, the sights we shall see. The sights we shall see.
I think that's for the raids. I guess I should do the raid story as well for Endwalker. You have completed the main scenario quest Endwalker. Quests to unlock new content have now become available in Old Charlian. They're gone, guys. They're gone. Oh. We have a quest here. I guess we're gonna talk to Satoru. MSQ, how lovely to see you. If you're not in too much of a rush, I was about to make a pot of tea. Would you like a cup? Take a seat then. I'll find us something to nibble on as well. That was a nice spread. God, I want some sweets now.
It's so much quieter these days without everyone around. Not that I'm pining for your return, you understand. I have my sources, and I know that each and every one of you is doing well and keeping busy with your endeavors. Meanwhile, I'm left with a surplus of free time and the question of how to make the most of it. What about you? Any plans for the immediate future?
Grand new adventure, of course.
Traveling to the edge of existence and back wasn't enough? Well, if that's the case, I might have a suggestion for you. You've fought bravely and selflessly, helping those in need and saving our star from unimaginable threats. For your deeds, you've been hailed as the champion of Eorzea and a host of other incredible things. But why not put those titles aside for a while? Acquit yourself as a simple adventurer again and travel the world in search of wonder.
It's a great idea, but where to start?
Oh, with so many exciting places to choose from, it's hard to narrow it down. But I believe I have the perfect destination in mind. Thavnair. That's where you should go next. I doubt you were able to squeeze in a proper tour of Radzatan the last time you were there. What with the burning skies and rampaging monsters and so forth. And I'm sure Vritra would be pleased to see you. Then there's the bounty itself. The Empire's presence in the region was always a deterrent to exploration. So if you've a mind to sail that sea, now's your chance. Just think of all the new experiences you could have.
Tell me, have you been to the ruins beneath the waters of the Bounty? As the bearer of Azem's crystal, you may consider your duty to see at least that much.
Oh, I know that look. That's an adventurer ready to take on the world. In anticipation of an occasion like this, I was planning to gift you a new set of traveling clothes, but it's still a work in progress. Shouldn't take much longer now though, so sit tight and I'll have the last few bits sewn up before you can finish another cup of tea.
You're the best, Tataru.
Stitch in here and trim in there, knot the threads with love and care. Just a little more to go. I'm sure you're still brimming with excitement. I am one with the needle. See how the fabric surrenders to my whims. Don't worry. I'll make sure the lining has plenty of pockets for all your little treasures. I swear adventurers are worse than children when it comes to hoarding every feather and leaf and animal hide they come across.
It'd be like that. Exactly like that. Matter of fact.
Oh, we mustn't forget the waterproofing. Gods forbid you forget to disrobe before plunging into the sea, or a river, or a piping hot bath.
Is that a certain someone we know? Where is he? Oh, that's cool. Newfound adventure, like, I don't think we've ever had a patch show that. That's crazy. Like an expansion, sure, but oh, hello.
Ah, you're awake. My apologies. I do get a little carried away with my sewing.
Want to know how he got back.
Cheerful. Pleasant dream? Or are you just looking forward to the next chapter of your grand saga? Either way, I promise to provide you with new apparel, and so I shall. If you'll accompany me to the Diamond Forge, we can put the finishing touches on your outfit. Shall we?
I think Diamond Forge is that way. I'm excited. I'm excited to be ready for Dawn Trail. But I'm also excited to, because I don't remember too much of Post Endwalker. Observe as the artiste refines her piece into a masterpiece. And no napping this time. I only need a moment. You'll see. A little more room in the shoulders. Open up the cuffs. A final adjustment to the hem. All done. Let's see how it looks on the mannequin. Well, what do you think? Doesn't it just scream ready for a bold new adventure? That's exactly what we'll be wearing, Tataru. I'm so glad you approve. You've outdone yourself, Tataru. Thank you. Oh, stop. You'll make me blush. If you really want to thank me, though, all I ask is that you wear this on your travels. Or at least anywhere lots of adventurers might gather. They'll look at you, a famous hero, and wonder, where did he purchase those stylish yet practical garments? And before you know it, hordes of new customers will be climbing over each other to place orders at Taru's boutique. I can hear it now. The merry clink clink of gil overflowing my coffers. Sweet music to my ears. Blub, 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 blub. Burgeoning merchant empires aside, you must be excited to start a fresh chapter of your life. New places to go, new people to meet. I often wonder how you remember all your experiences and exploits without taking at least a few notes. Oh, maybe you should start doing just that. You never know when some odd past detail might become relevant, or if one day you'll take a blow to the head and forget the better part of the past decade. Something to keep in mind in my case. Collection expanded. What is this? What the heck is this? The Unending Codex. Persons. Concepts. This is cool. New entries for prominent terms and characters will be added to the codex as you progress through the main scenario quests. Interesting. As the former receptionist and sometimes intelligence gatherer of the Scions, allow me to offer you a word of advice. Do not expect juicy rumors to simply fall into your lap. Adventurers rely on gossip, and the best places to pick up information are taverns and markets. At present, you only have a broad destination in mind. When you arrive in Thavnir, I suggest you explore options at Meheride's Mehane, the finest drinking establishment in Ratzathan. Charm the employees, and they'll not only point you in the direction of local tale-tellers, but also share with you the tricks of loosening their tongues. Now I really must be getting back to running my boutique. Enjoy the journey, and may fair fortune find you. Alright, I believe we're wearing the best stuff we can get, so we're going to go make a glamour. I will be right back. Welcome to Meheride's Mehane. Oh, hello, I did not recognize you at first. Are you here alone? Let me find you a table. Ruins beneath the Bounty? Should you be speaking of the sunken treasure vault? We have one regular, a historian in fact, who could tell you all about it. Where are they at? Ah, there he is, Professor Jalheen. I thought I saw him come in. Although a somewhat private sort, the professor is quick to befriend those who share his fondness for the Mehane's unique beverages. Offer him any drink from our selection and he should happily share everything he knows about the vault you seek and a few other odd bits besides. Whatever you buy for him is on the house, by the way. If Maride found out I took coin from Thavnir's savior, she would have my scrubbing pots for a week. So, should I go to... No, just go over here? Okay. Yes? And what may I do for you, my Orison friend? Just a friendly chat. How about a drink? Well, I certainly wouldn't say no to a drink freely offered. Here we are, one of Maride's finest. Enjoy. Ah, lovely. Bottoms up. Jalheen empties the cup in a single pull. That was very kind of you, sir, but I know when I'm being softened up. What is it that you want from me? Oh, chasing down that old tale, are you? It does seem to appeal to the adventurous at heart. Now where to begin? Might I assume you've heard of Al-Zadal? He was Khan of the Yari tribe which sailed to Thavnir from the mainland, and a key figure in the history of Ratzathan. His decision to aid the Arkasadora is what ultimately won them the war from against the Gajasura. Sounds like Basura, thus allowing our predecessors to lay the foundation for this thriving city-state. The truly fascinating stories, however, concern his grandson, Al-Zadal III, who was known for his deeds as satrap in Ratzathan's earlier days. Some attest that this man traveled to another world entirely and returned with glittering riches. Others that he brokered an alliance with a certain worm of the first brood. Then there is the tale of the sunken vault, the one you seem most curious about. According to this legend, Al-Zadad III claimed a small island somewhere in the middle of the Bounty. There he built a structure reaching clear to the bottom of the sea, a deep and secret storehouse, and locked all his worldly wealth within. In the centuries since, whenever a natural disaster or hardship befell Ratzathan, folk would remember that tale of hidden treasure. Hardy souls would set out to claim their fortune, but precious few ever made it home. Would you like to hear more? Apologies, I have a slight tickle in... Oh, my cup appears to be empty. Another round for the professor. I see we've reached an understanding. You're a sharp one in the venture. Another for the professor. Whoa, today was a splendid day to visit the Mahane. Jalheen gulps down his newest drink with gusto. Where were we? Yes, those who did return from the seeking the treasure vault flatly refused, to speak of what they saw. Did this discourage others? Nay, quite the opposite. Such accounts only served to feed the legend, and the golden lure grew stronger than ever before. That reminds me of something Azama was saying. Azama is a fellow connoisseur of spirituous potables. Yes, he is. Anyway, he was saying that one of his acquaintances went after the treasure himself. Hasn't been seen since he set sail, I hear, but he did have... No, I can say no more. You seem a generous sort. What kind of man would I be to encourage what is clearly a foolhardy quest? If my words sent you to your death, I could never live with myself. I am no stranger to peril. Is that so? Perhaps it's your turn to tell a tale then. What manner of dangers have you faced? For one, just save the universe? The very edge of existence. From anyone else, I'd struggle to believe it, but I recognize you now. You're the hero of the final days. A drink. I need another drink to settle my nerves. Meal. More of the same, if you please. As you wish, but this one is on your coin, Professor. Jalheen drains yet another cup dry. Anyway, you being who you are, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to share a little more. This friend of Ozma's, he was desperate to buy a treasure map, one which showed the way to the entrance of the vault. Seems he could only get it from some merchant, which his name... Forget. Let's drink a toast to you, my new best friend. Me more drinks. Signal for water instead. The wink. Your drink, sir. Marvelous. I am parched. Jalheen gulps down the cup of water. That was water. Did you tell her to bring me water? Still, that's probably for the best. Very kind of you, really. My head will surely thank you in the morning. Seem to have overindulged. Put in my mind of the words of Master Jazan. Be wary of how much of the drink you swallow, lest it swallow you. Forgive me. I will subject you to no more of these unseemly antics. If you want to speak with Azama, well, as I said, we share a taste for the Mahane's fine spirits. He probably came in as we were talking. I wish you fortune in finding your fortune. Yes, I am Azama, and who might you be? Ah, true, I'm afraid. My friend took a ship out in search of Azalda's legacy, and I've been watching for his sails ever since. I tried to dissuade him, of course, but he refused to listen. All he could talk about was finding that vault, and that look in his eyes. I knew it wasn't common gold or jewels he lusted after. He was hunting Azal III's otherworldly hoard, and his ambition would not be denied. I see it in you, too. That appetite for the mysterious and the unknown, but I'll not attempt to turn you from your path. I know too well the futility of that endeavor. So I will tell you what my friend told me, how he convinced a merchant in the bazaar to give him the rough location of the vault's entrance. It seems this merchant, one Zashal, I believe, is selling a map which shows the exact route, but my friend's purse was too light for its exorbitant price. With that meager wealth he had, he instead paid to learn that there are ruins on a small island somewhere in the Bounty, and within those ruins hides the path to the vault deep below. If you truly intend on seeking the treasure, I suggest you put your affairs in order. I wish things were different, but I do not believe my friend is ever coming home.
Please, Ashal, please! You must let me have that treasure map!
What's all this about?
My mother and father were slaughtered by monsters. My baby sister, still too young to fend for herself. Can you spare us no kindness?
So, you hope to find your fortune? And what? You expect me to surrender my wares for pity's sake? What have you to offer in payment? As I thought. Come back when you've more than rags to your name. This is no mere treasure map. It is a guide to the vaults of Arzadal III, one of the great satraps of Radzat Han, and a direct descendant of Alzadal Khan.
A map to Alzadal's legacy?
So he says. A fake, I'd wager.
This is no fake. The parchment is marked with an arcane glyph of passage. You may find the ruins hidden in the Bounty, but you won't be setting foot inside without this in your possession. A priceless artifact it is, discovered amongst the rubble in the aftermath of the final days, and lovingly restored by yours truly. This map is the key to fabulous riches, and I'll be the king of fools to simply give it away. Be glad I am no such king boy. Your scrawny-eyed had never returned with that treasure alive.
Oh, cruel fate! Why must you tempt me with wealth I am powerless to claim? How I shall envy the one who purchases that precious map! Whatever they pay will be but pittance against the golden hoards they stand to uncover.
I really hope we don't buy this map.
What of you, sir? Fighting man of your stature would surely relish the challenge of recovering Alzadal's lost fortune.
A fortune, you say?
If I had but the strength to seize that treasure, my starving sister would never want for food.
I'll take it. Will this cover the price? Well met, my friend. Someone is dressed for adventure. But why Why Favner of all places? Knowing you, I suspect there's more to your plans than sightseeing and shopping. Ruins beneath the Bounty. Curious. And here I've acquired a map to just such a site.
With that sale, I do believe I've earned the rest of the day off. Thank you for your patronage, sir, but if you'll excuse me.
You needn't mind us.
And now I've fleeced one of the heroes of the final days. Pray the sisters were looking elsewhere.
This map may or may not be genuine. Either way, we'll need a ship to find out for sure.
You seem eager to be underway.
Lest you misunderstand, I seek the treasure not for myself. If such a fortune truly exists, then it could help ease the struggles of those who lost their loved ones in the final days. I hope to do for Thavnir what you and Alphino did for the Alamegans when you recovered the Mad King's trove. Come now. You know Alphino needs little encouragement when it comes to recounting the tales of your shared exploits. Speaking of precocious lads, that boy in the bazaar was clearly an accomplice of the merchant. Suppose his role was to draw the attention of the crowd and add weight to the merchant's bold claims. Transparent act for the most part. It was not all mummery. The need to provide for his sister rang true enough. Thus, if some portion of the profits end up in that waif's pockets, then I will consider it money well spent. Whether the map leads us to the vault or not.
Okay, he's not a complete... I thought he was a complete idiot.
You are coming along, yes?
Naturally.
I thought as much. Now, let's see about securing a vessel.
Boom, chicka boom, bum, boom, chicka boom, bum, bum, boom, chicka boom, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum. I'm pretty sure that that's the end of the cutscene. I don't know what I'm loading into. Okay, that took absolutely forever. Maybe there's a lot of people. Oh, there's a lot of people here. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Like and subscribe the video, and I hope you take care.